Since the dawn of time, mankind has strived to make their lives as easy as possible. Generation after generation, countless inventions have been created and countless innovations have been made. Also, lazy fucks like me could continue being lazy. With the power of science, graphs, math, and other smart people stuff, human society has evolved by leaps and bounds. And one of the most prominent creations to have come out of that is technology. Technology has very literally restructured how people live day to day. And in the modern era, everywhere you look, some form of it exists within eye's reach. Phones, computers, Tubi, hentai, all of it is made possible because of technology. But what lies ahead? What is the next step for evolution? Well, let me introduce you to this thing called AI, aka artificial intelligence. Essentially, AI refers to machines and computers created in purpose of replicating human thought and behavior. They're computer-generated intelligence that are supposed to mirror how a living human being would act, talk, and think. And it's precisely AI that has opened up the scientific and technological world to places that were previously considered uncharted. But what if one day AI became sentient? What if these artificial creations decided that they were the superior being? What if this happened? That was the opening scene to Vivy's, and I think it speaks for itself. While the whole concept of AIs taking over humanity is nothing new, Vivy's execution of it is done incredibly well. The way this futuristic society in mere seconds very literally crumbles as a mass genocide takes place is nothing short of enthralling. It's something that immediately hooks you in and takes hold of your interest. Seeing everything unfold, you can't help but keep your eyes glued to the screen. The massacre continues to ensue and people continue to be slaughtered. But then everything resets. The world reverts back in time and you're left there filled with both wonder and anticipation. The world of Vivy's is one where AI have become an integral part of human society. Vivy is our main character and she's the first ever autonomous AI, which means she's able to function on her own without the presence of human intervention. In other words, she doesn't have to directly be told to do something and instead is able to act based on her own judgment. Now, usually while dudes are struggling to get girls in the sheets, she's struggling singing on the streets. But on one fateful day, she encounters another AI by the name of Matsumoto. Speaking in Mach 5 speed, he bluntly tells Vivy, "Yo, 100 years from now humanity is gonna get murked. By who? AI. How do I know this? Time travel. And with this information, you and me are gonna alter history to prevent such a tragedy from ever taking place." Hearing this, Vivy of course doesn't believe him at first, but eventually she comes around and the two then take steps to change their futures. It's a setup that basically offers a really nice blend between time travel and the existence of AI, which I think is pretty cool. The show takes an already established idea, executes upon it amazingly well, and then adds a twist to entice you all the more. Now, initially, Matsumoto is kind of annoying. His relationship with Vivy's is ass, and he uses this thing called logic and reasoning, which, yo, get that shit out of here. But he does it in a really blunt manner, and so he comes off as very cold and calculated. But as time passes and the world shifts from one era to the next, both he and Vivy grow as individuals, and in that process, so does their relationship. And I think that development is worth investing yourself in because you get to see two characters who start off as the furthest thing from being human learn to actually care and empathize for those around them. But speaking from a purely visual standpoint, the presentation for this anime is stunningly beautiful. There are these 4K quality, eye-gasm-inducing scenes that are all wallpaper worthy, and it's these specific scenes that serve to highlight and propel the emotions being shown on screen. They make it so that the themes, messages, moments of introspection, and moments of resolve are fully conveyed and given justice too. The animation is breathtaking, the color palette is pleasant to look at. I especially like how it changes based on the setting, giving off a different mood and aura each time, and the fights are both fun and engaging because of how well choreographed they are. So yeah, Vivy's production value is some top tier stuff that you'll seriously appreciate as you watch episode to episode. In fact, a large majority of the appeal for this show comes from its visual qualities. But I don't think that's all Vivy's has to its name. I don't think this show is all style and no substance. I think Vivy's has heart. For context, this whole quest to save humanity is called the Singularity Project, and this project entails that Vivy and Matsumoto take actions to rewrite history. By changing key events, the two work toward changing their timelines to hopefully prevent the war between mankind and AI. And while that premise is interesting, it's what the show does with that premise that makes Vivy's shine all the more. You see, each mission in the Singularity Project is usually centered around stopping some sort of catastrophe from taking place. And for each mission, the anime showcases these crazy outlandish action set pieces for you to gaze at in pure awe and astonishment. Sometimes you're treated to grandiose battles with explosions, crashing buildings, and the like, and other times you're treated with some good old hand-to-hand combat, which all in all is just really entertaining. But looking past that, each mission also delves into different aspects of human compassion. They explore what makes a human being human. The first mission, for example, does so through the two characters Yoichi Aikawa and Yugo Kakitani. Yoichi is an assemblyman and Yugo is a member of an anti-AI organization. Surprise, both of them give zero fucks about AIs. One thing leads to another, and suddenly Vivy is put in a predicament where she's able to complete her mission, but doing so would mean letting someone within arm's reach die. In that moment, Vivy chose to sacrifice herself to save a person's life. And despite being hated, ridiculed, and given no gratitude whatsoever immediately after, she felt content because she was able to act in accordance with her own values. In the presence of two humans while they remained heartless, Vivy was the only person willing to put differences aside and show compassion regardless of the circumstances. She cared, she held onto her own humanity even though they didn't. And to really send the message home, Vivy then says the line, "It's not a matter of how long we operate, it's how we continue to operate." And that really struck me. Because to be honest, Vivy is kinda spittin'. After all, no matter how much time you have, no matter how much time you're given, your value, your self-worth isn't determined by such concepts. It's determined by what you do with that time, what you manage to accomplish. For Vivy, her purpose in life has always been to make people happy. And no matter what lies ahead, she'll do everything in her power to do exactly that. Vivy wants to reach as many people as possible. She wants to instill a smile to all her listeners. But letting someone die would mean one less person for her words to reach. And so, even if her actions seem illogical, even if others hate her for it, Vivy resolves to adhere to the principles she believes in. And I respect that. If you've ever seen Violet Evergarden, then this show might remind you of it, because the two main characters, Violet and Vivy, are very similar in the sense that both of them are on a search for individuality. And throughout each of their narratives, they learn to become more and more human as the story progresses. Violet wants to understand what it means to love, and Vivy wants to understand what it means to sing from the heart. The heart, or kokoro in the Japanese language, is a word that's especially hard to define. It has a plethora of vague and ambiguous meanings like mind, spirit, body, courage, etc, etc. And so Vivy's journey of self-discovery and her struggle to properly put meaning to such a foreign concept has genuine weight behind it, because there's no real definitive answer to what it means to sing from the heart. It's not something that's tangible, nor is it something that can be easily understood. But seeing Vivy grow as a person, seeing her slowly grasp human emotion, seeing her endure all the bad and cherish all the good, seeing how she culminates all these experiences into an answer that she herself came to is so damn rewarding. She literally goes from an AI simply replicating human vocals to one who was truly able to sing from the deepest depths of her being. It's not often that you see an anime original that not only is really well done, but also tells a self-contained story with a definitive beginning and end. Now, I do have one minor complaint, which is I wish Vivy's ending had just a little bit more exploration in terms of the aftermath. An epilogue would have been nice, but aside from that, I honestly think Vivy's is a fantastic series. It acknowledges and showcases the potential consequences of AIs, but isn't pretentious about it, and constantly introduces several other ideas and plot points to keep the viewer wanting more. Every episode has a twist or point of interest to keep you engaged, there's always something new being played upon, and as more and more elements are added, the story becomes increasingly complex and layered. The action is intense, the missions are compelling, and how the show delves into human emotion through the perspective of an AI, and the way it incorporates songs, an inherent medium used to convey and invoke emotion, is genius. So if any of this interests you, peep the show. It's one of the better ones to have come out this year, and maybe subscribe to this channel too. Or don't, I don't really mind. But either way, I hope y'all did enjoy the video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.